Aftermath Silver is a company operating in southern Peru and northern Chile. We are focused on the critical metals side of the business. We're looking at silver, copper and manganese, and our objective in the long term is to become a producing company of all three of those metals. Our key project is Berenguela. It's a silver, copper, manganese project in southern Peru. It is on road, rail and power and has a mining friendly community nearby. This share structure is out of date. Our current share structure is around 310 million shares issued. We have a market cap of close to $300 million and about 14 million Canadian dollars in the treasury. We trade very high volumes, anything from 2 to 3 million shares per day between the TSX and the OTCQX in the US. Our largest shareholder is Eric Sprott. He owns about 25% of the company. Key management staff: Michael Williams is the chairman of the company. He's a promoter and capital markets expert. My expertise is geology. I cut my teeth in mining geology and exploration, as did Michael Parker as COO. And then Victor Grande is an indigenous Peruvian gentleman. He handles our community relations in the project, which is a crucial part of our operation now. Berenguela is one of Latin America's largest undeveloped silver projects. The resource holds around 100 million ounces in measured and indicated, and about another 40 million ounces in inferred resources. It has a very large copper resource with it, and contains about 3 to 3.5 million tons of manganese as well, which is one of the crucial economic factors for us. We are on road, rail and power. As I said, we're about 5 kilometers from all three of those crucial infrastructure needs. And what we're looking at is we believe we can economically extract the silver and copper. So the next step for us is to demonstrate on a large scale that we can produce manganese sulfate from the project, which is a crucial battery ingredient these days. Berenguela is about 5 kilometers from the town of Santa Lucia. Santa Lucia is on the main road between Arequipa and Juliaca in southern Peru. It is a mining and resource town. And the project itself is underlain by land that is owned by private landowners. It's not a community association. And we have access agreements with all of the landowners there. Three metals are contained in the resource. Silver. Silver is in deficit. There's not enough supply currently to meet the demand. It is the most conductive metal in terms of heat and electricity. It has dual value as both as an investment metal and as an industrial metal. We believe we can produce silver from this project. Copper is another metal that's in supply deficit, even more so over the last few weeks with the shutdown of Grasberg in Indonesia. That's taken 2 or 3% of the world copper supply out of the system. This project contains close to 1 billion pounds of copper. It is soluble copper, that is, we can dissolve it with acid. And we should be able to extract it economically. The final metal that we're considering is manganese. As far as we're aware, and as far as our consultants and strategic advisors are aware, there are no battery technologies at the moment being considered for electric vehicles that do not contain manganese. It's absolutely crucial to the future of the development of batteries for electric vehicles. The demand is forecast to go up by 400% to 600% over the next 5 to 6 years. So this is a metal that is in huge demand. The investment community doesn't understand this yet, but the auto manufacturers do, and we are now starting to see direct interest from the US car manufacturers in mining companies such as ours. They are now coming down to this level looking for supply of manganese. This just illustrates the manganese demand going forward. We believe up to 2033 we could be looking at a quadrupling of demand. Berenguela is a project hosted by limestone. It was mined at the turn of the last century by an English mining company from Liverpool. They tried to extract high-grade silver and high-grade copper from the project. Within the mineralization here, we are seeing areas where the silver content is up to 1% silver, so extremely high-grade locally. We've drilled about 150 holes, and there are about 380 holes existing on the project. And from that, we've completed one resource, and we are currently finishing a second resource estimate at the moment. We've also been doing a lot of work on the metallurgical flow sheet, because it is a very complicated metal to produce. Manganese chemically is a very difficult metal to extract. This just shows roughly where the project sits. It's nice open country. It's on top of a hill. It outcrops its surface, and it's 5 kilometers from the nearest town. It's at an altitude of 4,200 meters, which presents some challenges. It's not easy working at that altitude, and it also has an impact on the possible metallurgical flow sheet. We've got a core yard in Arequipa. This is where we store all the material from the project, where most of the work gets done. The resource is about 1 mile or 1.6 kilometers strike length and about half a kilometer wide. It goes down no more than 200 meters. It outcrops its surface, and we think the life of mine, the strip ratio, that is how much waste rock you have to take per ton of ore, we believe is going to be less than 1. So we're going to be mining mostly mineralization from this project. The resource as it stands is 40 million tons in measured indicated, containing roughly 100 million ounces, and an inferred resource of about 22 million tons containing another 40 million ounces. This will change. We are likely to see mineralization moving from inferred into measured and indicated with the current resource estimate that we're working on. Crucially, the manganese content is about 2.5 million tons measured and indicated and 800,000 tons in inferred. Each ton of manganese metal yields 3 tons of manganese product, that is manganese sulfate. And each ton of manganese sulfate currently sells in Europe for around 2,800 US per ton. So the manganese component is incredibly economically valuable. This is what the mineralization looks like. The ore body, you can see there the previous diamond drilling. It's, as I said, it's very close to surface. Geologically, very, very straightforward. If you're producing manganese for the battery industry, it has to be extremely pure. 99.99% purity is what you have to get to chemically. We've been doing a lot of work with a metallurgical company in Reno, in Nevada. They've spent a few years working on this, and we've been able to get this to 99.99% pure. We now need to scale that up to a commercial level, so we need to get to the point where we can produce hundreds of kilograms, if not tons, of this material that we can deliver to the auto manufacturers for them to test that they can use. They can make it into batteries, effective batteries. The process route is essentially you put the mineralization in a large tank and you pour acid on it, sulfuric acid. When the rock has been dissolved, we extract silver from it using what's called a Merrill-Crowe circuit. And that will produce silver metal. We produce copper through an electric cathode system, SXEW, and the manganese solution is then put through additional purification steps until you crystallize manganese sulfate. It's actually called high purity manganese sulfate monohydrate, and as I said, one ton of metal yields about 3 tons of manganese sulfate. That's what it looks like. The mineralization is shaped in cross-section like an open pit. It's ideal for the engineers to get their teeth into. We do not expect any problems mining this. It's going to be very, very straightforward. And that's what the mineralization looks like. The black is the manganese mineralization. That grade's probably 20% manganese. You can see the green copper mineralization in there. This piece probably grades about 2 or 3% copper. And probably about 200 to 300 grams per ton silver. We are seeing intersections where we've had up to 1% silver over as much as 6 or 7 meters. So locally it's very, very high grade. If you're working in parts of Latin America or anywhere in the world where there are lots of indigenous people, and in this case we are in an area that is inhabited by the Quechua people, you have to be very, very strongly focused on community relations. One of the first people we hired was Victor Grande. He's indigenous Peruvian. He worked for the World Bank, spent some time in Washington, DC, speaks fluent English, but he's put together a local team We've been operating there for nearly 6 years now. We've had no issues with the community. We have somebody on the project all the time that is there to answer questions in both Spanish and Quechua. We've been doing all the environmental monitoring according to World Bank standards. So far it's gone extremely well for us. We provide local educational grants for students at the technical college, and we hire all of our labour locally from the families that own the land under the project. This is a little out of date. As I say, apologies, it's not the presentation I thought I'd uploaded. What's going to be happening in the next 12 months? We have a new resource estimate coming sometime in the next couple of weeks, and from that we will be looking at transitioning from preliminary engineering to a pre-feasibility study. We will be doing exploration drilling both in Chile and in Peru. We have some additional copper targets at the Berenguela project that we would like to drill. To pay for that, we will probably be looking at a fundraise, a private placement sometime this autumn. And we are also shifting the management team from geological to engineering as this project becomes more of an engineering project. One of the other aspects of the project is this shown on here, the yellow star to the left-hand side. That is a target that we came across about 2-3 years ago. We see up to 2% copper at surface. We are permitting this for drilling at the moment. The objective will be to drill this by the end of the year. We hope this will add some exploration results to the engineering results that we're generating. This just shows a little more detail. The pink spots are what you should focus on there. Those are where we're seeing high-grade copper at surface over a distance of about 2 kilometers. The key points in regard to Berenguela, we have a project that's at surface, it's on infrastructure, it's on rail that goes to the coast. We have a mining-friendly community nearby. We are working on preliminary engineering, which is likely to shift into pre-feasibility engineering in the next 6 months. It's one of the largest undeveloped silver copper projects in the world. Technically it's been challenging from the metallurgical standpoint, but we believe we've worked through all of the issues there. And there's a significant copper component to the project, just as copper is shifting into supply deficit. That very, very briefly is Aftermath Silver. We are way over the other side of there, and if you want to come and see the actual presentation I was supposed to give, I have it over there. Thank you very much.